Hello friends, I Surbhi K. M. Herwal, working as an assistant professor in one of the well-known engineering college in Hyderabad. Today I am going to explain the concept of reflector antenna. This part is divided into the two parts. The first part which I am there in this video and second part I will upload very soon as this topic is very lengthy. So previously I have discussed what are the different types of an antenna and the fundamental parameters of it. The link of that video I will share here in description part of this video. So these are the contents of my video. First we will go to the introduction. Then there are different types of reflector antenna. The first is a flat sheet reflector antenna. Second is a corner reflector antenna. Third is a parabolic reflector antenna. Out of all these three, in part 1, I will explain the first two types of an antenna. Then advantage, disadvantage and applications of that antennas. And in part 2, I will describe overall about the parabolic reflector antenna. Now in introduction, the reflector antenna is nothing but a device that reflects the electromagnetic wave. It works as an antenna only which radiates the electromagnetic wave. So what is the difference between other antennas and reflector antenna? The big difference is that it has a reflector part in it. So reflector helps to modify the radiation pattern of an antenna. That means the whatever reflector is provided or has a featured in this type of an antenna which is helps to improve the radiation pattern of my antenna. So what is a reflector? It is nothing but a basically large metallic sheet which is called as a reflector, and the backward radiations from an antenna can be eliminated through this reflector or by this reflector. Thus I can improve the radiation pattern of my antenna. The function of reflector is to stop or it backward radiations from an antenna. Whatever the backward radiations from the antenna will be there, they are going to be eliminated if I use the reflector in my antenna, so that there will be the improvement in the radiation pattern of an antenna. So these antennas are microwave antennas and very important in microwave applications. Basically, the overall reflector antenna is consist of two antennas. The primary antenna, which is also called as a feeding antenna or feeding element, this is used to excite the reflector antenna. The primary antenna can be used the dipole and horn or a slot type of an antenna. The secondary antenna is nothing but what? Reflector antenna itself. So basically the reflector antenna is nothing but what? It's a combination of primary antenna and secondary antenna. The primary antenna acts as an exciting source and the secondary antenna acts as a reflector point or a reflector antenna. So these antennas can be represented in different geometrical configurations, but most of them useful are plane reflector, corner reflector, curved reflector and parabolic reflector antennas. So the based on shape of the reflector sheet which is I am going to use in my reflector antenna, it has been divided into three types. First is a flat sheet reflector antenna, second is a corner reflector antenna and third is a parabolic reflector antenna. I am repeating again, in this part 1 we are going to see just first two types of antenna, and in second part I am going to explain the parabolic reflector antenna. Now the first type we will go through, this is a flat sheet or we can also call it as a plane reflector antenna. So this is the most simplest type of the reflector antenna. It is consist of the plane sheets which are made by the two flat metallic sheets intersecting at an angle of 180 degrees. So basically this is the combination of just two flat metallic sheets which intersects each other at an angle of 180 degree. The reflector, it reflects a signal such as a mirror and it oftenly used as a passive repeater. The linear dipole antenna can be used as a feed element or a primary element. The primary element in this type of antenna is nothing but a dipole antenna. Now, if the size of the sheet is reduced to high extent, then it turns into the thin linear reflector antenna which becomes sensitive to the small frequency variations. We'll understand this concept by seeing the diagrams provided below. If we see in the first leftmost diagram, here it consists of the one back side large sheet. In front there is a driven element. In second diagram, same, the back sheet but which is of a small size as compared to the first diagram and driven element, and in third part the back sheet is nothing but itself is a converted into thin linear reflector because I have reduced the size of that back sheet, and obviously one extra element is a driven element. So what is the technical difference between these three diagrams? So The above sentence justifies that if I keep reducing the size of a back sheet or a reflector sheet, what will happen? If I keep reducing it to the large extent, it will get converted into the linear reflector antenna, which will become more sensitive to the small frequency variations. That means its performance will get degrade. So if I decrease the size of a large flash sheet on a background side, it is not a big deal. But if I increase it to the large extent so that it will get converted into the thin reflector, then it is a very problem, because it is a very sensitive to the small frequency variations. So if I want a good performance, I have to avoid this situation. Then to increase the directivity, I can use an array of a two half-wave dipole antenna in front of a flat plane reflector. Obviously, we have seen what are the different chances of increasing the directivity, which is a desired parameter to have a good directivity of an antenna. I can use the array of a two half-wave dipole antenna as a primary antenna. So I can use the, instead of using the single primary antenna, we can use it in the form of an array, so that we can increase the directivity of that antenna. The polarization of a radiating source and its position with respect to reflector, both are important to control the radiating properties. That means there is a polarization of a radiating source and its position. Both are very important to modify or to control the radiating properties like radiation pattern, directivity, gain and impedance. Now, the spacing S between the feeding element and a flat sheet is inversely proportional to the gain of an antenna. Now, what is the spacing S between the feeding element and a flat sheet? Now, here if we see, this is the filling element and this is a flat back sheet. This is the feeding element and this is the back sheet. This is the feeding element and this is a back sheet. Now, if we see these three down diagrams, we will come to know that in the first diagram, the distance between the feeding element and the back sheet is a maximum, that is lambda by 4. In second diagram, the distance between the feeding element and the back sheet is a decreased, and in third case it is decreased further. That means I am going to decrease the S in all these three diagrams. So if I keep decreasing the value of S, the distance between the feeding element and the back sheet, then what is its a impact on the gain of my antenna. So here if you see the diagram, upside diagrams, you will come to know that suppose in this first case the distance between the feeding antenna and the back sheet is lambda by 4, and this is the gain radiation pattern of that particular antenna. In second case, if you see, if I further decrease the S, that means the distance between the feeding antenna and the back sheet, then my gain is increased here. And again in third sheet, if I further decrease the distance between the feeding antenna and the back sheet, my gain is increased further. So hence it is proved that if I decrease, or in general I can speak that if the distance S between the feeding element and flat sheet is inversely proportional to the gain of an antenna. That means if S is increased, the gain will decrease, and if S is decreased, my gain will be increased. So it is a choice of a designer or the requirement of an application. Accordingly, we can choose the value of S. What is the main advantage of this kind of antenna? That is, for dipole, backward radiations are reduced and gain in forward directions are increases. This is the main advantage of this flat sheet reflector antenna, or we can also call it as a plane reflector antenna. But there are some limitation, or there are some problems with this antenna that will be overcome by the second type of reflector antenna, is a corner reflector antenna. So what is the problem? The problem with the flat sheet antenna, that is the radiation in back and side in plane sheet or reflector antenna are need to be modified or reduced. So they are overcoming with the corner reflector antenna by modifying the shape of plane reflector. So the radiation will be only in a forward direction. That means in flat or plane sheet reflector, there was a radiation in a back and side. Though to avoid it, the wastage, we can modify the shape of plane reflector, so radiation will be only in a forward direction. That means to improve its directivity. So how it is improved? So here we are connecting the two flat metallic sheets intersecting at an angle which is less than 180 degree. If you remember, in plane sheet or flat sheet reflector diagram, there was an intersecting angle between the two sheet was 180 degree. But in corner reflector antenna, there is a angle between the two sheet is a less than 180 degree. That angle is also called as the included angle. That's why it is also called as a corner. One corner is created if I intersect the two sheets at an angle which is less than 180 degree. Automatically one corner will get generated, and that is a corner reflector antenna. So that angle is called as an included angle. If included angle decreases, the spacing s between the feed and the reflector must be increased. Now the square corner reflector is nothing but what? When the included angle is 90 degrees. In most of the applications, the included angle is to be 90 degree. That is called as a square corner reflector antenna. The corner reflector antenna gives the sharp radiation pattern compared to the plane reflector antenna. That is the advantage of it. That I get the sharp type of radiation pattern. The feed element in this antenna can be either dipole or an array of a collinear dipoles. We can use a single dipole or we can use the array of a dipole to improve the performance of my antenna. Now basically these antennas are divided into two types. First is the active corner reflector antenna, second is a passive corner reflector antenna. So what is the active corner reflector antenna? That means when there will be corner reflector plus feeding or exciting antenna is provided in corner reflector antenna, then it is called as a active. Then otherwise, if only the corner reflector antenna is there without any exciting element in this, then it is called as a passive corner reflector antenna, or it is also called as a retro reflector antenna. Now if you see in this first diagram, which is on left side, this is the top and front view of a corner reflector antenna respectively. So here in this diagram, S is the distance between the intersecting point of the two, it is also called as a vertex of the two metallic sheets, to the feeding element, which is provided here. The alpha is nothing but what? The angle between the two different metallic sheet, which we also call it as a included angle. So that is alpha. Then L is the length of that each metallic sheet. So this is nothing but front view of the same antenna, which is H is the height of that metallic sheets. Alpha is the included angle between the two intersecting angle of the two sheets. And here this is the feed element, and the distance between the feed element and the reflector sheet is a capital S. So now here on right hand side we have one more diagram, which is active and passive corner reflector antenna. So first diagram is of a active corner reflector antenna, as it is consists of a feed element and a reflector part. So if you see this diagram here, this is the feed element and this is the reflector part. So this is a active corner reflector antenna. And if you see the another diagram, same here, the angle is kept 90 degree. So one important thing is that when I use my corner reflector antenna, it is in passive mode, there should be an included angle of 90 degrees only. So if you see in this diagram, there is no feeding element provided here. So this is nothing but what? Passive corner reflector antenna. The height of h of a reflector, here this is the height h of a reflector, is adjusted about 1.2 to 1.5 times greater than that of total length of a feed element. So this is the length of feed element. So the height of h, of an reflector sheet is adjusted about 1.2 to 1.5 times greater than total length of feed element to improve the performance of my antenna. Now what is the design equation for corner reflector antenna? So suppose dA is a dimension of an aperture of an antenna, S is the distance between the feed and the vertex of my antenna, L is the length of a reflector sheet, which we already have seen. So L is nothing but what? Lambda, or a wavelength. So in general, the L is equal to 2S. That means the length of the sheet will be equal to the 2 times the spacing between the feed element and the vertex or a intersecting point of two reflector sheet. So what is the dimension aperture of an antenna? dA is nothing but what? Square root of 2 square root of L. L is the side length of a reflector sheet, which is equal to 1.414 times L, that is the side length of a reflector sheet. So as we know that L is equal to 2S, so if I keep that value of L in this equation, it will become dA equal to, dA means dimension of an aperture antenna, equals to 2.828 times S, that is distance between the feed and vertex of a reflector. So this is a design equation for a reflector, corner reflector antenna. So here if I see, L is nothing but lambda. Lambda by 2 is the distance between the dipole and the vertex of my reflector. dA is nothing but what? Dimension of an aperture of an antenna. So here in the right side diagram, the distance between the dipole and the vertex is a 0.35 lambda and the length of my sheet is 0.7 lambda. So dA will become 0.99, this is approximately equal to the 1 lambda. So these two are just an example of the equations which we have provided up. Now what is the effect of spacing on gain and bandwidth of this antenna? So when my spacing will be less, that means spacing between the vertex point and the feeding point, or a distance between the feed element and the intersecting point of my two sheets. So if that space will be less, then the bandwidth will be narrow, and otherwise the gain is high. That means, for example, suppose I have a small spacing, then the bandwidth of my antenna will be narrow, but the gain of my antenna will be high. Now we will justify this with these diagrams. Here if you see, the distance between the feeding element and then vertex is a 0.5 lambda in first case. Second case it is increased to 1 lambda, and in third case it is more increased to 1.5 lambda. So what we are saying here is that suppose this spacing is small. So what will happen? The bandwidth will be narrow, but the gain will be high. Now you see the radiation patterns on right side of each respectively. In diagram A, the S is 0.5 lambda and L is equal to S, which is equal to 1 lambda. So this is the radiation pattern we are getting here. In second case, if the distance is 1 lambda, that means increased as compared to the first case, this is the radiation pattern. And in third case, the distance S is further increased to 1.5 lambda, and this is the radiation pattern of it. So if I compare all these things, I can make the conclusion that when the spacing will be less, the bandwidth will be narrow, but the gain is high. Just see, this is the main lobe of my radiation pattern. Here the gain is maximum, here the gain is less, here the gain is less. So I can say here the gain is getting reduced, but the bandwidth is getting increased. So I can conclude that if the spacing between the feeding element and the intersecting point between the two sheets is a small, then bandwidth will be narrowed, but the gain will be high, and vice versa. So what are the advantages of this corner reflector antenna? Basically, we have already studied that it overcomes the limitation of flat sheet reflector antenna by avoiding the radiation in the back side and the side of an antenna. Then the disadvantage of this antenna is radiation pattern is need to be improved further to increase the performance of the system, which will be overcome by the parabolic reflector antenna, which we will see in the next part of video. And what are the applications of these antennas? They are used in ultra high frequency range television receiving antennas. They are also used in point to point communication links and data links for various wireless WAN and amateur radio antennas. They are also used in radar system. Thank you. If you like this video, please comment on comment section and share this video with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more and more videos. Thank you.